There we go. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I'm just going to put my light on so that you can see that I've got another half of my face. Looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Let's put that right. Okay. How are you all? Good to see you. So I just want to remind you, for those of you who are attending live, I keep forgetting that this screen is backwards. So I see something here and I don't know which side of my face it is. I'm excited to be here. I want to remind you that you can share in the comments here, but if you don't want to have your name on the public thing, on the public live, then share in the private questions, and I have got a little link over here where I can see your questions. So let me just find them now so I can say hello to everybody who's coming. Hi, Lisa Jane. Hi, Julia. Hi, Danielle. That's so exciting to see you all here. I'm really thrilled to be here with you. And I'm excited to give you the tools to love you, to know what it takes to heal and create a life that you love. And we're going to be celebrating a special person who has won the contest. And we're going to be celebrating all of you for the work that you've done. I've seen all of you so busy checking out, watching the videos, doing the work. And so let's go along. Hi, Laura. Absolute pleasure, Lisa Jane. It's really great to be able to do it. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my little slides, and then I need to get onto the comments over here so that I can see you. Okay, there we go. Let me try and bring it a bit closer so that my eyes might work. Okay. Oh, I keep forgetting that I have to share this. And then you can't see it. And then I don't look at the comments, so I don't know. Okay. Right. Now that's sharing. Let's go to where I need it to share. Okay, Self-Love Masterclass. Da-da-da-da. Right, that's all sharing. Okay, so this is what we're going to whiz through. Celebrating your shifts. So now in the comments, just as I'm going through this, share what is the biggest takeaway that you've had from the Become Your Own Best Friend workshop. I want to hear and I want to celebrate you. And you can share, if you want to share privately and you don't want me to call out your name, just share in the question thread with the ticker that's going on there. We're going to share, I'm going to look at the different things that people have shifted in this week. Then look at self-love, past, present, and future. We're going to just quickly go over the past that's impacted you so that you get a sense of the different things that happened to you so you know you're not bad. It's what happened that impacted you. Then the skills to grow now that you can help yourself work through. Then how to create a future that we love. And then I'm going to share the story of Kate, Casey, and Clara. And then we're going to go into how to work with me and gain proactive, secure attachment together. And then I'm going to share a little bit about the program. It's healing that's convenient and connected and cathartic. And then the core components of the program, as well as a bonus for those speedy people who come and join us. And then I'm going to share the contest winner. Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see. Okay, so I'm going to come back in a second to read the comments. And I will go and read a couple that I have seen already. I can't pull up the comments, but I'm just going to read them to you. I'm gaining confidence to look towards myself with love, and I need my glasses because it's going blurry. It's too far away. I'm gaining confidence to look towards myself for love and not seek others for approval. I'm growing more in love with me. I can actually turn the critical voice off, and it keeps coming back and I turn it off. Before it was a big fight. And now the voice is losing its power. So this is just beautiful, and I'll look at the different themes that other people have shared, and I want you to share, and I'm going to come and read those who have shared live in a second. Julia shared that every time I refresh the skills I've learned, I shift further into being able to look after myself, catch myself as I'm being triggered, and remember that other people's responses are not personal. That is so beautiful. And I'm so proud of you. It's just gorgeous to hear how things are shifting. And all of us, I shared on the call yesterday that I got triggered with my son and I shouted. And it was only afterwards, actually in the call, that I was like, I know why I got triggered. And I shared that in the call last night, that where there's hysterics, it's often historic. And we blow up because there's something that feels very real. But as we tune into it, we can see where the history of that upset comes from. And it's not just to do with the person in front of us. So the next person wrote, I looked at the energy and commitment I gave to others, and I decided to give that to myself, that same love, time, and dedication. How beautiful is that? I gave myself permission. I always suppressed my feelings and emotions as others have it worse than me, and I'm slowly becoming my own witness. It's a start. It's a huge start. Especially that thought of others have it worse than me. Because when you're having that thought, others have it worse than me, then you're thinking that, then you're doing emotional abuse to yourself. And that's exhausting. That's so hard for yourself to live through that self-abuse. We want to accept whatever we're feeling is welcome and that we can love ourselves through it. The next one said, I'm learning to do the things I love and enjoy without guilt or justification. Life's too short not to. Absolutely. You've got to live a life that you love. And it's so great to see that. Okay. And then there's another one on this one. So somebody shared, be the chooser. So often in life, she was just receiving and taking what people gave. And now she's really realizing, I want to be the chooser. And she said, I'm learning that all my feelings are valid, even if they're not rational. So now I ask often the question, how is this honoring you when making choices? And it's amazing that this affects even little choices in life. And I'm realizing that those choices matter so much. So I'm going to come back to the group and see what else. So Danielle said, I've learned that others' perceptions of me are so different to what I thought. They were loving and wonderful. That I do matter and I am loved. And I've started to like myself more and I'm proud of myself. That makes me teary, Danielle. I'm so proud of you. It's just, I've so loved seeing how you've reached out to so many people, and I've loved the generosity of their responses to you. And I've also learned that by setting boundaries, it's okay. And I felt safe to do that. That's just exceptional. It's so lovely to hear that. And if anybody else wants to share your things, you can do it privately in the private thread and I'll read it anonymously, or you can share here. I would love to hear what you've got. Don't be shy. I want to hear. I want to celebrate you. All right. So let me just go through in here. It's so weird because yesterday I could read that completely fine last night. And today it's a complete blur. But as soon as I put my glasses on, I can see it completely. How weird is that? So you're going to see me going all the way through. All right. So let's go through. These are the wins that I've seen as I summarize the different things that people have shared. People have said, I'm more proactively constructive. So just a reminder for those who haven't seen what proactive constructive is, it's where you are, instead of being destructive and putting somebody down, ignoring them, making them wrong, you are boosting who they are, but not like in a, oh, you're so wonderful, in a fake way. It's really empathizing, caring, loving, cherishing them, and proactively doing it with enthusiasm, support, and interest. A lot of people said they're developing empathy. And I specifically, if you haven't seen it, it's worth looking into the units. And I can quickly, I'm always wary of showing people the group, because then you can see people in the group and this is public. So if you don't know where to find the units, let me know. Post in the groups, where do I find the units, please? And somebody who is online now will show you. And I've created a little video on how to develop empathy, because for so many people that were struggling, they could share what happened to them, but they didn't know how to identify their feelings, or they didn't know how to empathize with themselves. Danielle's just shared here that she developed more of a sense of herself, and other people said that too. They didn't know what others had thought of them. It's just utterly beautiful to hear the shifts that people are having. And then some people shared that they have healthier communication, that one lady shared that she was able to communicate with her son through issues in such a more beautiful way that left them connected on the other side. Somebody shared that her mood is lifting, that before she was feeling really heavy and dark, and now she's feeling so much lighter. Somebody shared that in her whole house, there is more empathy, that she's explaining things to her husband. She has more empathy for her husband, and her husband's getting it, and there's more happiness throughout the whole house. Other people shared, like Danielle did here, but other people in the group have shared that they're setting boundaries at work, in their family, with friends, of what matters to them. And they're learning that it's okay to set boundaries, that it's actually healthy to set boundaries. And then there's this one thing that I'm going to read to you. I asked her if I could read to you because I just thought it was so, so beautiful. Okay. I realize how I swing from setting fortress-like boundaries to just flooding. I'm beginning to understand how I compromise my boundaries in the hope of getting my needs met. How many of us do that? I used to do this so much, of where I would give to other people and it wouldn't honor me. And because I would want my need met for being loved, for being cherished, for being cared for. But actually then I was just left in this pool of resentment, because they were showing, even by crossing my boundaries, that they didn't honor me, that they didn't value me. So in me setting my boundaries and honoring me, I love myself instead of taking scraps from other people. That is just such a beautiful insight. She goes on, I feel like someone learning to walk again as an adult, because these are adult skills. And if we haven't taught them, we often just feel like we're flailing like a child, struggling with our emotional issues that are being triggered all the time. I feel like I'm starting my life all over at my age, learning stuff that I should have known as a baby. And that's exactly what this is just learning the skills to love that we should have learned all along. Some days it's overwhelming and paralyzing, and other days I'm joyful and hopeful. And I hope that you take away from this that on the days that it's overwhelming, you shut down because it just feels like it's too much, and the dorsal vagus nerve has been triggered. And when the dorsal vagus nerve is triggered, you get immobilized and you can't do anything. So you just need to switch that into one step. What's one step I can take today? Just one step. All right. So let me go on and share what are the self-love past and present. I remember reading The Power of Now. And I got so frustrated because he kept saying, there is only now. And I'm like, no, in this moment, my past gets triggered, my future I'm scared of, and it is all happening. It's all embedded into our cells, into our, if you touch yourself, you can feel where other people have touched you in the past. And so for me, I want to be weaving love right now into the past, the present, and the future, so that all of me is loved all the time. So instead of having the past come up and go, oh, you were in the past, I'm going to forget you and move on. No, you were in the past and you're obviously hurting. So let me welcome you and love you, so that everywhere that I look into the future, into the past, and into the present, I am here for me. I am my best friend. I am loving me. I am giving myself the loving witness and the proactive, constructive care that I've always needed. So that's what this work is about, is loving everything, past, present, and future. All right. So let me just quickly go through. I've gone through this in the worthless video, but I want to go through this quickly for you to remember, and if you're new on this call, that it is not your fault what happened. You may have had toxic parents who had a toxic connection to themselves. They may have had trauma in childhood that they didn't work through, so they take it out on themselves. They might have had loss, like a baby dying or a parent dying that they were close to, and they were in such grief that they were just still-faced and blanking you. And then it would make you feel like you were deregulated and out of yourself and not wanted. They could have been struggling with mental illness, bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, would all have affected, because they were so in their world, affected their capacity to be with you as much as you needed a healthy, present, connected, proactive, constructive parent. They could have had addiction, whether it's to alcohol, drugs, whatever it might be. And in doing that, they had a relationship with that rather than with you. They were constantly obsessing about that. And it can even be that they're people obsessed with food, of monitoring everything and constantly thinking about eating, and they miss who you are because they're obsessed with that addiction of in control or numbing themselves, that they miss who you are. It could be just a programmed habit in childhood where they just think this is how life is. You know, like people say, well, I was smacked as a child and I'm fine. And so they just repeat it, thinking it's totally okay, and they're totally okay, and they're ignorant to the impact in themselves and each other. The one thing that we haven't spoken about is epigenetics. And epigenetics is this incredible research that's looked at how genes are expressed in the world. Let's say, for example, you come from a family that is very emotional, and so your genetic expression is very loud. But if you change your environment, the genetic expression changes, and so it doesn't impact you. I forgot something, and my kids are telling me I forgot something. There must be a way that I can celebrate all of you who have been so amazing. Thank you, children. I totally forgot again. So we'd like to celebrate all of you. Oh no, none of them have gone over the thing. Not one. My kids have had balloons waiting to celebrate all of you, and then I forgot to prompt them, and they were like, you meant to prompt us, we're waiting for you. So there are balloons to celebrate all the work that you've done, and now my kids have disappeared. Sorry, kids. Okay. Thanks for doing that, and sorry I forgot. You were very patient. They're rolling their eyes at me. So that's to celebrate all your hard work. Let me just check that I haven't missed any question on the question thread quickly. Okay, so and then the next one is that they haven't learned the skills on how to actually love us and cherish us and communicate in a healthy way. It could have been that the mother was treated with disrespect. I shared that I remember one thing from psychology in teenage years, when I did my degree in psychology, and they said that the way that a father treats a mother is the way that a child's self-esteem is developed. So if a child is, if the people around the mother are treating the mother disrespectfully, then the child grows up with low self-esteem. And so you may have low self-esteem just from watching how others were treated around you. Could be that they're having an affair and then they are totally not available to you, and it just leaves you feeling like you don't matter. If there's abuse and domestic violence around you, it leaves you feeling like scared, not trusting, that you've got no control. It could be that you're in poverty where you don't get your needs met and you struggle. And media as well program you to think that you are not good enough and that you are awful in yourself. There's also a lack of education. If you haven't educated yourself around abuse, then you often think you are bad rather than knowing what actually happened and having the education that you need to thrive in the world. Then there's racism. If you've had racism, you could have been threatened, you could have been hit, you could have had not been able to get jobs, you could have been not been given promotion simply because of the color of your skin. And that all leaves you feeling, I'm ugly, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough, where it's just the lie from white supremacy. It's not the truth. You're incredible and dynamic and a queen. And it's so wrong that anybody has ever treated you that way. And then there's war. Like my dad was involved in a war in Rhodesia, which when I heard about it, I was horrified about it. So he didn't like me very much for that, but that was the reality. And, we have many parents who are in the military who are impacted and come home with PTSD from war. And all of this is just your programming that leaves you feeling like you're not good enough. I'm just going to go back to this other page so I can see if there are comments. It leaves you, your programming leaves you thinking that you are not worthy and you're not loved. I'm just going to take that little thing away so you can see. So where's this gone? I don't know why it's jumped off. There we go. And it leaves you feeling bad about yourself. So let's look at what are the skills to grow now. A lot of you have been saying, I don't know what to do. So let's have a look at them. One, you need to grow your own loving witness to your experience versus re-traumatizing yourself. One of the things that is different to me than some therapists is that for a lot of therapists, you go in and they just want you to explore your past. That is not the work that I do, because I think that it can be re-traumatizing for people who've had challenges in the past, and it's hard to look at. And somebody asked in the group, do you have to look at your past? And I really recommend that people don't leap into looking at their past straight away. What they learn to do is to create this loving witness within themselves that can be kind, empathetic, and caring about your experience right now. And then if anything does pop up from the past, you're able to go to the past in your memory and be that loving witness to yourself, help to protect, set boundaries, care, empower that little child that was hurt in the past. But it takes being in the present and learning those skills so that if and when that pops up, you now have the skills to be able to do that, because otherwise it just completely, you get re-traumatized, cortisol, adrenaline, and it just feels like you're reliving it. And I don't want you reliving your past experiences. I want you to go back into them and be able to be the loving witness that is protective, empowering, caring, and strengthening and loving to that little girl. So you need those skills before you go into the past. Then you need so as I was saying, you need the skills of empathy and care and the boundaries to weave into the past, that if something happened, you're able to say, no, that's not okay. She did not deserve that. And say to yourself, it's not your fault. That was wrong. So you have to have that energy of no to be able to go into the past and let others know in that memory and that little girl or little boy, this was not okay. And I am saying little girl because the majority of the people watching and engaging happen to be women. So, and then what we need to be able to do that as we're starting, especially, is to be able to be safe, because trauma is scary. And when we've gone through a lot and not been supported by it, we don't know how to be safe just even in our bodies. So if our heart is racing, there's cortisol coming into our bodies, we don't know necessarily how to work through that. And it just creates more and more panic. So a few of the skills we need are breathing and self-soothing, how to calm ourselves, because when we get to that state, the amygdala is triggered, and then the hindbrain, the brainstem, is activated. All that we have access to is fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or be all funny and weird. And what we need is empathy and soothing and being safe to be able to come to our cortex, because our cortex is the place where we can see properly, the letter C. So we want to shift out of being effed to seeing things properly, where there's clarity, communication, connection, care, and compassion. And in order to flip from that emergency reactive state into seeing things clearly, we need empathy and safety. And one of the essential things of processing the past is studying the impact of adverse childhood experiences, racism, and abuse. So you know it's not you. The system is wrong. And that system of abuse, of racism, of adversity all impact us in horrendous ways. And so when you look at them and you look at the impact, you can go, oh, that's what happened. It's not that I'm bad. It's that happened and impacted me. And then we need skills now to be able to have that strength to process the past. So we need the capacity to integrate our feelings. And in order to integrate our feelings, there's steps along the way. We need to be aware of what we're feeling as a whisper before it grows into a big thing and then our brain can't function because we're triggered by a trauma. The moment we hear a whisper, like yesterday, I had heard the whisper. My kid said, Treya said, I'm going to go and have a bath. Lars said, I'm going to go play on the computer. And I said, I've got my call tonight. I'd rather you both help me get ready, because otherwise it's going to be stressful. And they both said, no, we're going to go and do this. And then it was stressful. And so it left me feeling this sense of fear, panic, upset, not feeling heard, not feeling met. And I had heard the niggles earlier, and what would have been healthier for me is to really express my boundary and my needs. And they both justified why they thought they had enough time to do it and it would be okay for me to do this. And I just went along with it instead of going, actually, for this, guys, I really hear you and this is what matters to me. Instead, we got angry. And before the call, we did get to a place where we were laughing and it was cleared and we had everything ready. But it was stressful and horrible. So I went into the call quite tense. And then I can look back and go, okay, what were not even the triggers from then, but the triggers as a kid of the times that I was nervous or anxious and I didn't have support around me. And so that's what I was trying to gather, but I didn't have the words for it. So afterwards I could share it. And this morning they had their balloons ready. And then I forgot they were standing right here. And they were like, you meant to be calling us for the balloons. I'd even written it down next to me of what I had to say to prompt them. So I'm just aware that I want to get through the materials so that I can answer questions and that I value everybody's time. Okay, so Danielle said, my father was always absent and leaving responsible of everything to my mother, and I can see how I had low self-esteem as a child. Wow, that's so impressive. And now having a reflection from all your family, Danielle, you can see how now that other people actually reflect that self-esteem to you, so you can grow into the listening that other people have for you. That's so exciting. So the other skill that you need is growing your psyche. So like Danielle said, of when you've noticed that this sort of the father figure is not there for you, then you can grow this internal father figure for yourself, so that you have inside of you this backbone, this protector, this feeling of being provided for by this inner figure. And the process of growing your psyche is that we create these parts, these characters, and in the program that I have, I've got meditations on these different characters for you to create parts of you that you haven't had. And then what people are noticing now, having used them for a while, is that they are themselves. It's this protector, this father figure. They are now mothering themselves rather than it being a part of their psyche. But this is a step into you growing those skills and strengths within your own psyche that you didn't have in childhood. And this takes us to reparenting you. I got a message from one of the people in my group who said the mother and the father figure have helped them so much to reparent themselves. And one of the things that a lot of people say in working with me, that when they start working with me, they're really, really critical towards themselves. And then they can hear my voice coming in and sharing words of empathy and validation. And one day on a call, somebody came on the call and she said that her own voice in her head, when she looked at the mirror, had said, "You are beautiful." And she said that was just such an indication for her that this healing was work, that it had gone from critical voice to my voice to her own voice now being positive and loving towards her. So it's just having that added support where you have the guidance of how to do that. So one of the other skills that we need to learn is to put love first. Like I used to always say to my kids, if you know, when they play fighting, they can fight, but they can only fight with love. The moment that I can hear the tone has shifted to hurt, they can't play fight anymore. And so love has to be first in your communication. So it's better to pause and wait until you can fill your love tank up. And then you can communicate with love so that it's not coming from defense, attack, shaming, and making wrong. And in doing that, you grow the communication skills to see, is this person accessible to hear me? Can we both be curious about each other's situation? Can we engage about the thing rather than attack the person? Can we resolve it together and repair damages done and be responsive to each other and create a solution together? So that's the communication kind of path of what you need. And each one of those is a little skill that you can work on. And then the whole mission is to become solution focused, because if we grew up in environments where we were unmet, where we were blamed and shamed, we often are not solution focused. It's really hard to be solution focused when we're triggered and uptight. And in order to calm ourselves down, we need the regulation tools. We need tools to be able to, I've said breathing, but there are other tools that you can find that are to calm yourself down when you are feeling in a state of emergency. And we go into those tools in the Be Your Own BF program. Then we need rewiring the brain. My trainer, my attachment therapist trainer, family-focused therapy trainer, said it takes 7 minutes to rewire a neural pathway with empathy. So if you think that when you were a child, you were either ignored or shamed or shouted at, when there's a stressful situation, your brain goes straight to those moments because that's where it's wired to go in stress. But if you learn how to empathize with yourself, then you can rewire your brain to switch when there's a stressful situation to respond with empathy rather than go back into the past reaction. And that's one of the great things about being in this program, is that when you post something, you get a flood of empathy from other people. And in reading those really slowly, you can receive the empathy as you learn the words that you don't know yourself. And then we shared about plugging the love tank so that there's no leaks. So if you find that your energy is being drained by people or situations or things that you do, to learn to put boundaries on those things so that your love tank is not being drained every day by the same things. You are supporting yourself to feel filled with love so that you can give from overflow rather than empty. And then one of the things that the people in the program are learning is to be the chooser in the world. So, for example, for a lot of us who've had abuse, we just think we deserve this. This is how it is. This is how it's always going to be. And we just believe that's it. And one of the ladies that I'll speak about her in a bit. So about being the chooser, we'll get to that in a second. So remind me, Casey and being the chooser. And then the next step is creating your dreams. You need to know how to create a vision, break the vision down into small little things that are like 15-minute slots that aren't overwhelming, that you can just take one step at a time. And that is essential to have a vision of where you're going to go so that you know that you can create and achieve your dreams. And that creates you into loving yourself and knowing that you are worthy. All right. So let's look at these. I'm just going to quickly summarize for creating this future what we love. You need a wholesome psyche, self-worth and confidence. You need to accept and empathize with your feelings rather than reject them. Lucy, I'm so glad that having my support helps you so much. And that is so, it's so beautiful to read. And you will stand on your own feet and 2 feet. And I see over the time that you've been in Home for Restoring Love, I've seen you come to know that you are worthy and deserving of goodness, that you don't deserve being treated badly. And I'm really proud of you. Okay, so I was sharing that you need to empathize and be with your feelings. You need to be an ally to your mind and your vision. So instead of, if there's a critical voice coming, don't repress it and push it down, because otherwise it turns into cancer or immune dysfunction. You want to look at it and make it an ally. You want to talk to it like a friend and go, where have you come from? You might need to set boundaries at times and go, I can't listen right now. I'm just working on this, and afterwards I'll need a critical voice to help me edit. Then you can come alive and speak to me. But setting boundaries on it is okay, but we can't repress ourselves any longer. Then we need a nourishing, mutual, reciprocal, supportive relationship. I shared with you how I studied these millionaires who went from poverty to millionaire in a year. And they said one of the core things was having supportive relationships who believed in them. And that's essential, because it helps us when we get stuck for somebody to pull us out on the other side. We need proactive, constructive communication, because if we're around people and ourselves who are speaking down to us, who are treating us badly, then we just feel awful about ourselves. So we need to have communication that boosts us, that meets us, that leaves us feeling heard and loved. So it's not like, rah, 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 I'm positive and here. We need empathy, we need validation, we need encouragement and support. And we need learned secure attachment. So what does this look like? In secure attachment, if somebody shares what they're feeling, they're feeling something, others are attuned to them and they empathize and respond. It's just a flow of response and engagement to each other. And when we do that, we know that we matter. If we have insecure attachment, we needy, or avoidant attachment, we push away from feelings. If we have complex attachment, we need, but then we get angry if somebody comes near us. So we have to shift into healthy, secure attachment, where we are going from healthy connection, where we are sharing our feelings and sharing what we need. And then we need empowering parenting, not only to our own children, but also to ourselves, to reparent ourselves so that we can become who we wanted. Like I shared yesterday on the call, the difference between like me and my mother. My mother said things like, "You'll always be poor." And with Treya, I said, "What do you want to be when you're older?" And she said, "I want to be a mother." And I was like, "Well, that's lovely, but you actually, to be a mother, it costs money. Who's going to pay for all the food?" And then she said, "All right, well, then I'll be a childminder. I just want to be around children all the time." And I said, "That's great. Let's look at all the childminders we know. Are they happy? Do they make money? Are they like patient and loving with their kids because they've got a lot of energy?" And she said, "No," to all of them. I said, "Is that what you want for your children?" She said, "No." And I said, "Well, maybe you could become a child therapist, because then you are with kids and supporting them and helping them, but then you paid well enough that you don't need to work 10 hours a day. You can just work a few hours a day and you've got enough energy for your kids." And she said, "But I could never do that. I don't have the intelligence. I'm stupid," because she's got severe dyslexia. So the words fly off the page and give her anxiety. So any sort of reading makes her really scared because it's so intense for her. And I said, "Oh, no, your brain will click." Because mine did, because I had severe learning issues, and it will be fine. You'll go to university. I did, and I was bottom of the class, and you were bottom of the class, so you'll go to university too. She said, "No, I won't." I said, "Yeah, one day you'll be the top of the class and you'll go, what happened? Because I was too." And one day she did. She did an exam and the school reached out to her and said, "You've got the highest mark that anybody in the school has ever got for that exam." It was for health and social care. So it did happen. It did. And now she's going to university in September, fingers crossed with lockdown, to study therapeutic psychology. So it's been incredible. And now she'll get dyslexia support. But that's the difference between having an empowering parent who goes, "I believe in you." And that's the parent that you need to create for yourself. "I believe in you. You can do this. What's the way that we can create this so that you have a good life with sustainable finances, that you can create a life that you love?" Versus my mother, where I said, "I want to go to Hollywood and becoming an actress." She said, "No." And she said, "You'll always be in poverty because you give everything away for free." Her exact words were, "You'll always live in poverty because you'll give everything you have to the starving masses of China." So there you have it. All right. So you need to create habits that you love. So this isn't about doing things that the rest of the world think you need to do. This is about creating a life where every day you're doing things that you love. One of the things that's happened for many of the Restore people is that they had stopped creating anything. And now they've begun to sow, because before, all their energy was going on the sort of emotional draining of the trauma, that they didn't have any energy to create. And so one of the things that has happened in the group, that just as they've cleared their issues, they're painting, they're sewing, it's just incredible to watch and see what they're creating. You also need boundaries with your energy. So seeing, instead of bulldozing yourself, and I've got a bonus on Tuesday, tomorrow, on all about energy and looking after your energy. If you are just struggling in yourself with your own energy, you can't give to other people. And if you're bulldozing yourself and forcing yourself to do too much, and then you get so tired you can't function and love yourself, that's not healthy. So you need to tune into your energy and do things that are right for you in the moment, that honor you. And yeah, this is what we're going to go into tomorrow. Healthy action that honors you so that you are loved every day in every way. All right. Then the other thing that we need to create a future that we love is the education that we need. Like for Treya going, okay, I want to do something with children. Great. You're going to become a child therapist. So you have to go to university. So you have to get maths and English. To get maths and English for her was excruciating because she hated both of those and she wasn't good at them. It took her two exams to get her English, and it took 5 exams to get her GCSE maths. That was with tutoring. She really struggled to do that. And she finally did. But had she not had a pushy mother who was going, I believe in you and I want to empower you. So if we haven't had that, we need a voice. And if you can't create that voice within yourself, come and join the BFF program so that you can have my voice believing in you until you create the life that you love. There was somebody else saying, I've been thinking of doing my master's, but I haven't. If that's what the education you need to create the life that you love, create it. Your life matters. Your life is important for a lot of people. You don't need the education. Like for me to educate myself, like I've got these 2 computers here doing this. I've got these different systems. I had to educate and invest. It's been over 30,000. And I've just looked at it as a master's in serving 2 million people. And I've invested because you matter to me, because I want to make a difference in your life. That's been a dream since a child of when my mother smashed my head in and I said to her, I want to go to a children's home. And she said, their kids were there who have it worse than you. And I was like, what? How could anybody have it worse than what I've got? And if they do, then I want to make sure that I can take everybody from abuse to love. So that's my mission. And I've just invested everything that I possibly can into creating it. So what is your mission? Yes, I've gone into huge debt to be able to do it, but debt is just the fuel to be able to do it. And I know that will shift in the future, but it's really important that you go, this matters to me. I will invest in me because I want to create a life that I love. Then choosing a work and purpose that you adore. So you only have got one life. If you're living and working around people who are treating you badly, it's not healthy for you. You deserve better. And I described yesterday how I left a job because I was being treated badly and I became homeless. And I was, what age was I? It was 25. And I found out about some guy who had a spare room in his house. Not a spare room. He had one room in his house. And then I got a job as a care worker so that I could work overnight so that I would not be sleeping outside. But because I didn't want to be around a place where I was not being treated well. And so I want that for you too. I want you to be treating yourself well. I described on the call yesterday how we seem to go through these periods of like high functioning and then dip down into struggling and high functioning. And that's been my experience. And I see that in a lot of clients that when they finish school and they leave home, there's such a, phew, I've got away from all that abuse and now I can thrive. And then suddenly it feels like the abuse hits us and our life crumbles. And I've seen that in quite a few people that's happened to. And along the way, it's really essential that you find work and colleagues that you absolutely adore. And one thing that I have to speak about is that we are all not free until all of us are free. That this whole uprising and rioting around the world is a beautiful and essential thing. Because people of color, Blacks, Indigenous people all around the world have experienced excruciating racism. And until everybody is treated with equality, from Mexican people in America earning 53 cents to what a white male earns is just not okay. To Black people being scared to walk out at night because they might be arrested and killed. It's not all right. And so as we heal, we also need to be anti-racist and make sure that we put our hearts and our empathy into those who have also had abuse, but then also abuse simply because they are brown or Black. And I think that that's an essential part of the work that we need to do, is making sure no one gets abused in the world. And along that, we need to create sustainable finances so that we have the money to invest in those who are struggling around us, and we can give from overflow rather than always creating from empty. So, in the group that I have, I am always, if people are in toxic work environments, I'm saying, this is toxic, you're not getting paid enough. Let's create. Let's have a think together. Let's brainstorm what you could do differently, what business you could set up so you are making more money, because you don't need to be living like this. All right. So let me share quickly about Kate, Casey, and Clara. Okay. So when Kate came to work with me, the first call that she came on, she just looked like she was so shy, and she was really, really scared to be there. At the time, she was in an awful space. She was self-harming. She was insecure. She was struggling with very toxic friends, and she felt awful about herself. And I'm trying to think of when she joined. I think it was in January last year that she joined. And it's been incredible watching her journey, because she's gone from shy and insecure to knowing what she wants, to seeing that her work environment is toxic, to starting to set up her own business from home, to shifting out of toxic relationships and getting a healthy, loving connection with her kids. That's better connection that she's ever had with them before. It's been incredible to see. So if you were there and feeling insecure and desperate, know that things can shift. Then there's Casey, who is a confident professional who's thriving financially in her profession. She's doing really well, though she was in a toxic relationship and a toxic work environment. And through working with us, she started working with us in June last year. When we started the BFF program, and she left her toxic work. She left her toxic partner. Now she's she's just this week put down, what are they called when you an offer in a house? And she shared today that she was worried about childcare because she's a professional and a key worker. She has to be working. And she shared that people around her who are mothers with kids in her daughter's age are going to help her out with her childcare when she's sick, so she doesn't have to rely on this toxic ex. So it's beautiful to see that over time, she's slowly learning how to set these boundaries and taking big leaps of going, I'm not going to be in work environments where I'm not treated well. And then there's Clara. Clara had experienced a lot of things in life, starting with her father telling her that she was useless. And one of the things that Clara has inspired in our whole group is this game that we've been playing for the last month together of take up space in the world. Instead of feeling like you're useless and hiding, share who you are proudly and beautifully of these are my values, this is what matters to me, this is what I'm doing in my world. And so, big part of the group and the work that we do together is really meeting everybody. And I want you to see that every single one who comes in makes the shifts that they're capable of from where they're at. There's no judgment on anybody. Everybody in the group is so very different. And we meet you where you are and take you to where you are wanting to be. Whether it's that you don't even have a vision for yourself because you've never felt safe enough to create a vision. We would then work on getting safe, not looking at the vision first, because you need to feel safe in where you are. So let's look at what is involved in this 8-week program. All right, so the doors are now open. Ta-da! I'm really excited. It's been a lot of work to be able to get the website together for you, to be able to present what is in the program. So for those of you who want to join us, we would just be so utterly thrilled to welcome you. It will be incredible to have you with us. I just missed that Our mission in the program is to gain proactive, secure attachment together. Let's look at what's involved. It's convenient, connected, and cathartic work. One, convenient. It's in your phone. It's on your computer. So when I ask people, what's it like having this online? This is what they said. It's accessible even with car issues and anxiety. So they wouldn't miss a therapy appointment because it's just there on their phone. Like one person had to drive every Saturday. And so some days we have a call on a Saturday so that it's easy for Americans to get to because then they're not at work. And her partner would be driving in the call and she would sit on earphones so that her partner couldn't hear everybody else. And she would sit and talk. So she didn't have to go into the world. She could just be on the call. I can get help whenever I need it. I don't have to wait for an appointment. You can post any time of day, and because it's global, people will answer. It's more intertwined with my life. There's 24 access in your pocket. It can be accessed when needed and revisited. So, for example, I shared with you about Eliza in a previous call, and Eliza just takes one thing and she does it again and again and again and again every single week until that's part of her. So for her focus has been growing parts of her psyche. And so she did the encourager video, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a day, because she was lacking that encouragement because her critical voice was so huge in her head. So she didn't know the words of what encouragement sounded like. So she could just go through that again and again. It's a reciprocal empathic peer group community. For me, I see it as this self-healing community who are learning to empathize with themselves, and they practice on empathizing with each other so everybody feels met. And somebody said it can be digested in a way that makes sense for me and at my pace. I find in-person therapy can be hard for me to process because I'm a visual learner. And the videos and the worksheets help me really grasp the lesson or guidance I'm looking for. So we don't have a lot of worksheets, but we have some for the core processes like rewiring the past or self-empathy or action that honors you. And every program, I create one more worksheet so that we have different worksheets that you can work along, so that if you have an issue and you're struggling with empathy, that you're triggered by something, you can go through step by step on what to say to you, what to do, how to process your feelings and understand why you're upset and what you are needing in the moment. And it's connected. We are all over the world: Australia, New Zealand, France, Germany, England, America, Eastern time to Pacific time and in between. So whatever time of day you are upset. So I see some people writing at 2 o'clock in the morning UK time because something's triggered them. But then somebody in America will be awake, or the Australians will be awake and be able to respond. So somebody who is waking when we're asleep in England, but they're writing in Australia, somebody in America will be awake. So you have access to people loving you throughout the day. And it's cathartic. I hadn't thought of this word. These words were given to me by the people in the group. I asked them, what would be 3 words that you would describe the work that we have, the benefits to people? And I had to look up cathartic because I didn't know if it was quite the right word, but it was about being able to work through what was there emotionally and release it. And in this, in so many places you go into and you feel awful about yourself because people don't get it. This, others get what you're going through and they love you and care for you. It's a beautiful space to be in. Okay, so what are the core components specifically of the BFF program? Firstly, there's a learning library. So this is a whole toolkit to process the past, to process your feelings, to develop the love skills you weren't taught, and meditations to grow your psyche. We guide you to becoming the loving witness that you've always needed to heal so that you're securely attached and proactively constructive to create a life that you love. And you can choose how you access that library. You can go through it week by week for every week of the 8 weeks, or you can know, I get triggered a lot, so I'm just going to hang out in the safety section and get really good at getting safe in myself. Or I struggle with communication, so even though everybody else is looking at safety, I need to look at communication. The whole mission is for you to meet where you're at. So if you post and share, this is where I'm going through. People will suggest, because they've been using the tools for over a year, they'll suggest what are the best videos that are there for you. And then their core components, that is love and action. We were calling this segment intending for the first year. Then we changed it to get stuff done in the second year. And now this year, we're going to try and change it into love and action, because the whole mission of this part of our work is to teach you to love yourself, whatever you're doing. So we have group sessions to break the patterns of like functioning for other people or forcing yourself to do something, even though you're shattered and don't have any energy, or just numbing out and not able to take any action at all. And this helps you to discover how to love yourself no matter what you do. So these are a weekly call. And thankfully, some of the people in the group have decided that they would like to run these calls too. So while I've scheduled calls that I'm doing, as we start the group and everybody gets settled after this workshop, we'll add other calls with other group members who are ready to lead them. So you'll have extra support also from the community as well as me. And in these calls, we meet up for a short while where we each listen to what is going on for you, what is your energy like, what are you going to do? Then everybody goes away for an hour and does that. So you can see, how am I treating myself in this? Am I honoring myself? Am I loving to myself? Then you come back and share how it was, and then you go off and do another hour. And then at the end, we celebrate you, whatever your insights about yourself. The purpose of these is not to get masses done. The purpose of these is to explore, how were you treated? How are you loving yourself? And how are you encouraging and supporting yourself to be honoring and good to yourself, no matter what you do in every day of your life? Then we also have the beloved LUFU crew, who all have their hands in the fire with you. They're all there together, and it's a warm, it's like sitting around on a campfire with everybody sitting together. And sometimes they actually do that. They say, let's have a campfire moment. And they'll say, I've got marshmallows. What are you bringing to the campfire? And it's hilarious that all these people sitting around, all around the world, around the campfire of the LUFU crew. And just for those of you who don't know, LUFU is a made-up surname, or not made up, but it wasn't my real surname. And they suggested being called that themselves. And LUFU is the old English word for love. So they are the love crew, and their mission is healing themselves. And it's just this beautiful, beautiful connected family. Julia said the other day, this group is like a fan club for her, of where whatever happens in life, she knows that she can share in the group and everybody is there for her, supporting her. She's gone through one hell of a year. And she says that because of this group, she's able to navigate excessively difficult things with dignity, with love, with compassion. She's just been incredible. And she said it's because of this. So it's a self-healing family all around the world, giving you empathy and support 24 hours a day so you can get mutual nourishing care. So you get that 7 minutes of empathy whenever you're going through something, and you get to practice that empathy so that it's an exercise of you giving to it. So, and studies show that having a healing community speed recovery. So if you have cancer and you go to a cancer group, if you have abuse and you go to a healing group, you speed recovery rather than doing it alone. And I can honestly say that when people reach out to me and say, can I do individual therapy? I feel that this is more effective with individual therapy than individual therapy alone. So some of the people here choose to do individual therapy with me on top. Very few do. I think maybe 3 in the group have. Some others also have their own therapists, but they find that they see the therapist in the week and then they struggle and then they see the therapist again. And so this creates a sustaining, so that if they're sharing with the therapist something and then stuff happens in the week and they take that stuff to the group, they don't actually get to process other stuff with the therapist. So this stuff gets cleared in the week by sharing with the group. And so they can really do the real work with the therapist. And then there's guidance from me. So somebody who you've heard throughout this week has gone through a lot of abuse and has come through on the other side. I'm not suicidal anymore. I am functioning. I have a loving relationship with my kids. And I want to be able to support you to have that too. And so every week we do group sessions with me to unblock your healing and deepen your embodied self-love, so you get quicker, easier results in your healing. And I will run a love and action session every week and a group session every week. And I alternate the times every week of those, so that the Australians and the folk in America each get one of those, and you can attend all the calls that you like. Some people have woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning in California to attend calls that are in the UK morning. Other people in Eastern time have woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to attend calls. You can attend all the calls that you like. And for those of you who are the first to come and join us, the first 10 people will get a session with me worth £250. So normally, and the people who have worked with me in the group, that's what they have paid me to work with me doing individual sessions. My individual sessions are 2 hours long, where if there's a moment that you have not wanted to look at alone, then I can guide you through that and love you and validate you and empathize with you where you are struggling to process something. So for those of you who sign up with me, will get a session worth £250, the first 10 people. So I would love it to be you. So come and join me, and I would love to have you. There's the link for you, and I will put it up. It's a chosen name. That's a much better word to say. Okay, so that's the link for it. You can either do zarialufu.com join or zarialufu.com. Both of them go to the same place. And it would be absolutely lovely to have you with us. I want to make a massive difference for you. I want to be able to take you from where you're at into loving all of you, and enable you to have this family online that are there for you, whatever you're going through. So let me see what's next. Oh, the contest winner. All right, I have to get my kids to come and help me. Let me see. I'll just put this up while I wait for my kids, so that those of you who want to get the thing. Oh, where's my little? I'd made a little. Okay, I have to send Treya a message to tell her to come down, because they have to come and help me celebrate this person. Give me a second. I'm calling my kids. If you have any questions about it, if you have any questions about the program, you can ask any questions now. I can hear my kids are coming. So the contest winner for the ultimate launch prize, I thought I heard them coming. I can hear them now. The ultimate launch prize for this person has been participating in the group. She has been really going full out in contacting people who love her to ask her what they like and value about her. And it's shifted how she feels about herself, realizing that she's worth loving. Not only has she been sharing about her journey, but she has been the most proactive person in this workshop, sharing how encouraging others, supporting others, empathizing with them. And I went and looked on who was the most, who's the most active. And she was number one for the whole challenge. So I would like to announce, I wonder if she's here. The winner is, you have to make sure it goes over the camera. The winner is Danielle. That went so fast, you can hardly see it. All right, we'll do this again. Can you see it? There we go. That looks better. Okay, let's see if the balloons work. Okay. Woo! Thank you, my children. Thank you for celebrating with me. I appreciate you. Oops. Okay. So congratulations to Danielle. You have won oh dear. I've got hearts in my juice now and hearts in my tea. So we would love to have you with us. The Be Your Own BF program is now open. There is the link to join us. And if you join on this session, you will get the session with me. And a few people on the call yesterday asked me that they only get paid at the end of the month. What should they do? And there is, if you go onto PayPal and you have a PayPal account, you can get PayPal credit. And I wanted to be able to show some of you. Oh, that's so great, Danielle. I'm so glad that you're here. Yay, that's so thrilling. Danielle says she's stoked. That's so great. So really thrilled to have you with us, Danielle. So I just put some more of these. Yesterday, Treya had the cannon and she turned it backwards. So it went all over the kitchen instead of towards the camera. We gathered them all up again for us. So we've got masses of hearts to bring you love. So I just want to go through. Let me actually get up for you the page so that you can have a look at it, and I'll quickly go through it so that for those of you who want support looking at it, I'll go through it. So this is the page. If you're feeling desperate, disconnected, or discombobulated, you can join the 8-week program to gain calm, confidence, and courage to be true to you. So I go through the impact of adversity and what adversity people might have had. Then I go through the science behind knowing that you can change. You can change your brain. You can change how community changes, how skills change, how learning secure attachment changes how you feel and see the world. And then these are the skills that we work on in the group that you can look through and see in your own time. These are the different sessions that we have and the different things that are available for you. And then you can look here. If you are stuck with any of these things, if you're on a computer, you can go over to these. And I just want to share with you, for those who have got Safari, it doesn't look like it's working on Safari. And so for folk who've tried to log on Safari, it hasn't worked. So please use Chrome or Firefox. It's not working on an Apple iPhone. So even if you're on an iPhone, download Chrome and it will go through. It's something to do with your cookies. Rather frustrating for the people who tried last night and couldn't get on. And then I'll just scroll down here to be able to show you. This is the different packages that you can purchase. It's £399 for the 8-week program, which comes to less than £10 an hour for the therapy sessions. And you can pay for it in 3 installments, which is £147. Or you can pay for it for a whole year, and you get 3 programs. We run them in winter, summer, and spring, and it's £69 a month. And then you also get the Restore membership in between those programs so that you have a community of self-healers that are with you through that. And for those of you, so you can just click on any one of these and it will take you to the payment plan. So if I click on that, I'll show you that it just takes you to the thing. You can put your name in and click complete order, and then it will take you to a thank you page where you will see, just like on this, I wonder if there's a way for me to show you, just so that, because often people forget, I don't know how, I can't remember what the the thing is, no, I can't remember what the thank you page is called. But if you just go, once you've paid, don't go off the page, because it will give you the calendar, the schedule, as well as the community. And you can click on the community and it will take you to the Facebook group. And then some of you have shared that right now finances are a challenge, but they're going to be okay in a bit. And other people suggested that you can try getting PayPal credit. And for those of you who are wanting to do this annual plan, I will set up a new link today that can include the annual plan, so you could take PayPal credit and pay, because you can, if you use PayPal credit, you can only pay in advance for everything. So I'm aware some of you would probably like to pay for PayPal credit, or pay for the whole program using PayPal credit. And I will set up today payment for that, and I'll be able to send a link out. So that, and then what happens is you go onto here, and then when you click, it will be on it. It will be similar to this, except it will say the annual package with 3 programs in it. And when you complete with PayPal, you first apply for the PayPal credit. And then when you click PayPal, it will say use PayPal credit or use your own amount, but you have to pay in full, and then you pay PayPal back in your own time. And you can set the rate with PayPal. I know that PayPal was advertising to me that I could take money out and I could decide how long that I wanted to pay it off back. And it gives you a certain amount of time that is that you can pay it off. So at the moment, I think they're saying 4 months interest free, and you can just look at what that is on PayPal for those of you who are not able to pay either of those options right now. So yeah, there is the page, and I'm going to come off here and see what questions that you have. Or where is it? There it is. Okay. So let me see what questions that you have. Oh, Danielle, I'm so grateful that you're grinning from ear to ear. That's absolutely thrilling. You know, I just see who you've been in the community, really giving to other people. And it was, I said to everybody in Restore, who should we give to? Who should get the thing? And then when I went into Home for Restoring Love, and I saw on it that you have, in this time, you've made 144 comments, which was the most comments. The next person behind you had answered 137, but she wasn't involved. She's just a regular member. She wasn't involved in the workshop this time. So I just want to congratulate you. And I really look forward to seeing who of you come and join us. I'm utterly thrilled to welcome you. And if you've got any questions at all, then message me about them so that I can answer you. And I can, yes. So Julia says it's the cost of a daily hot drink. That is the reality. And for those of you who pay in advance or pay for the whole program for the £69 a year, it comes to therapy for less than £5 an hour. And I know for me, I've paid between £50 and $125 an hour. So, you know, even if you're doing individual therapy, the £400 program is like individual therapy, except that you're getting 4 or 5 hours a week of group therapy. So it's affordable therapy for people who want a lot of support, as well as having the Lufu crew and these videos for processing skills, growing your psyche, communication skills, creating a future that you love. I absolutely want to see each of you loving you and creating a life that you love. And I can't wait to have you with us to welcome you into the group and to make a massive difference in your life. If any of you have any questions or any concerns, message me. And I'm sure there'll be other people in the Lufu crew who are happy to speak to you if you want to hear about their experience. They're very generous and they're utterly lovely in sharing their experience. So yeah, I can't wait to see who comes with us. And we, just so that you know, this week I will serve those who are completing the workshop, and I will be here for all of you. If you are, whether you're joining us or not, I will be with you. All the videos for the workshop come down on Friday, and they will be put into the BFF group. There are many people who have done previous workshops who didn't participate in the workshop because they found them too busy and too much. I don't go live like this every single day. This is a lot of work. This is just for you to have a quick breakthrough. In the program, it's sustainable work where we have 2 sessions a week where you get support and you get to work on one skill that you're working on. So every week you can pick a different skill and just work on that skill so that it's sustainable work that you need. So if you're working on self-empathy, there's a video that's detailed and a worksheet on self-empathy that you can go through step by step until you're noticing, wow, this is naturally happening. This is an automatic process that I'm empathizing with myself and with others. Now I can go on to the next skill. So it's self-paced learning instead of this being quite a lot coming at you all at once. In that, we are not here like this with me talking at you. It's us sitting in a room together and me hearing what you need and me guiding you to it. And if I don't have a video for the issue that you are working on, I'll create a video. So it's proactive and it's intuitive of seeing what do I need for myself right now. And then you can go through the whole video library of seeing what is it that you need so that you can help yourself. And I know for a lot of people, it's scary. It's scary investing in you because you think, am I worth it? And I address those on the website because I think it's really important. I've invested a lot because I want to do this work and I want to heal to help other people heal. And now it's time for you to invest in you and go, I matter to me. This is important to me. And I want to gift myself the healing and the love that I've always needed. And this is a safe, warm, loving community. A lot of people, Julia on here will, I don't know if she's still here, but she will agree that she was petrified. She didn't join in the first one because she was scared that she wouldn't be welcomed and loved because she'd been somebody who'd moved a lot. And then every time moving, she was the new girl. And she didn't want to be the new girl. She didn't want to be the person who was coming in and everybody else had connections. And she has found that it's such a loving, beautiful space to be where people are so kind to each other and people are so welcoming and warm, and you will fit right in. Everybody does. There is space for you. Yeah, Julia's here. She said, I was scared of a group of ladies. She didn't have great relationships with ladies. Often that happens if we've been around bitchy bullies or a mother who's not available and unattached. And so it leaves us feeling wary of women. There is one guy who's signed up. So there will be one guy in it, and he's done it before, and he's a lovely guy. So I want you to know that it's safe. There is somebody else, as I described, Kate. She was also petrified of signing up because she felt like, oh God, what are these people like? And she just said it's just been so warm and welcoming. So let me just check if there are any other questions in the other page. No, that's all good. So if you are wanting to sign up with PayPal credit. It's something that I've never used before, but other friends of mine who are business owners have, and they're going to support me. And I'm going to create a little email for you of sharing how to do that. And the first 10 people who sign up will get a session with me that you don't need to use straight away. You can use in the next year. So once you've got a sense of the skills that you are gaining and you're aware that there's something that you would like a breakthrough with, then you can contact me. And I can't do sessions when I'm running a workshop because I'm working 14-hour days, but when I'm running the program, I have more time available for you. And I would utterly love to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to welcome you. The doors to the BFF program are open. So come and join us. Come and be loved. Come and gain the skills to processing your feelings, your growing your psyche, becoming the loving witness that you have always needed. And come and enjoy the warmth and the support of the Lufu crew who are there all over the world to support you and get the skills that you needed to process the past and create the future that we love. I can't wait to welcome you on the other side. And get in touch if you have any questions, or if you want to chat with me and hear if it's right for you. I will happily just give you a call on Facebook and connect with you and hear what your concerns are. I don't want you sitting alone, not knowing the answer for you. I've always found for myself that I've paused, I've breathed into my heart, and I've asked myself, is this right for me? And if it is right for me, even if I've had, like when I did my master's, I was a single mom on benefit. I had zero savings. And I knew that I had to do that. This was what my calling was. And if you feel that, instead of saying to yourself, I can't do this now, ask yourself, how can I? How can I? And that's one of the most liberating shifts that I've ever made in my life. Of going, instead of I can't, to how can I? And that's one of the ways that you can step into creating a life that you love, instead of being blocked and going, I can't do this. Going, how can I do this? And if you want, Julia says there, and Janet was on the call last night too, offering to help. So if you have any questions at all about it, any concerns like I'm scared that I won't be loved, or let me just actually quickly I will quickly go on to the things, because I asked all of the people who joined, what were the things that were scared for them. So somebody said that she was worried that I knew enough. And then she saw that I had studied integral theory, attachment therapy, theraplay, psychodrama, relationship coaching, singles coaching, couples coaching. And she felt, okay, she seems to know enough. And then somebody was scared because she had grown up in a critical environment. She was scared that it wouldn't work, that she was too far gone. She had high anxiety. She was on anxiety pills. And she just thought she was desperate and frantic and overwhelmed and was really toxic and damaging to herself. And within a month of joining, she had stopped her anxiety medication because she'd learned to get safe in herself and respond to herself in a healthy way. Whereas before, it was this critical voice that was actually creating the anxiety with her. Kate said that she ummed and ahed because she thought that she wasn't good enough. She was self-hating and she'd hit the rock bottom. And now she's learned that it's natural to have those thoughts when you've had a life experience like that. And she's turned her life around. Her relationships are stronger with her children. And Clara was scared that she couldn't trust anyone. And then when she heard the explanation, she knew that if she had a question, that I would answer it. and that she would be able to work through it. Then there was somebody else. Let me see what she wants to be called. Everybody has got aliases so that I'm not breaking their confidentiality. Oh, Megan. Okay, so Megan felt she didn't really have anything wrong with her. Why should she do this? She didn't know why she wanted to be in it. And she didn't even think that her childhood experience was valid. It was bad enough to be in this because she hadn't been sexually abused. She hadn't been physically abused. But she still felt like she was damaged in some way. And she was really defensive, like, I don't need this. It's not for me. I don't want this. And she didn't know where in life this sort of defensive hardness came from. And she hadn't addressed the reasons why. And she just took a risk. She just said, okay, I'm going to do that. And she said it's been quite a learning curve for her to access this, the support, but it's totally changed. Her anxiety is better, her interactions are better, her relationships with her partner and her kids are better. So I really know that it changes lives, and I've seen it. And whatever your concerns are, speak to us. We care. There is nobody who's going to bully you or manipulate you into joining. You have had enough of people demanding, bulldozing, flooding you with who you have to be and how you have to be. If you think that this is right for you right now, come and join us. If it feels good in your heart, then come with us. If it's not now, trust you. That's totally okay. But if it's fear that's making you think that not now, or if it's anxiety that's holding you back because you might be not loved, come and get that addressed. Don't sit on it and regret it. Because so many, that's so exciting, Neville. Let me have a look. I haven't got a message that somebody else has signed up. So have you tried to click and sign up? Because it's just when you click to join that it takes you off. It might be that your cookies are set, but I haven't got an alert that somebody has signed up. If you have signed up, and then it might not have gone through unless it's not set up that it's sending me a link to say. But normally when I get, let me just check on this other system to see. No, normally I get a message saying somebody's signed up, and nobody has from this call has done that. So have you tried to sign up and it's gone? If you have, then I don't think it's gone through. So just check with me. I will send you the link, Danielle, to the thank you page. So I just need to get that from my assistant. So Neville, send me a message if you've tried to sign up and it hasn't gone through, because it looks on this side that it hasn't gone through. And if it hasn't, then I need to do I personally am not capable of this. So I know where my limitations are. But Janet in the group, I'm happy to link. If you send me a message and say, I've tried to go through and it doesn't look like it has, you should get a thank you email straight away if you've signed up. So check your email from zarialufu.com, zaria@zarialufu.com. And there should be an email automatically that comes to you saying welcome to the group and giving you the calendar and the schedule. So check that, because I haven't seen an email from you. This is most bizarre because this happened last night, that it hasn't gone through for people from Safari. So it might need to change. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. And yeah, I was sharing that if you have the anxiety that, oh goodness, this is scary and I can't do that, share what your concerns are. Turn to that anxiety and ask it and say, what is it? Some people had the thought, I am too damaged and I won't be loved. There is if you're a respectful human being who consider other people, you will be loved. There will be times that somehow we need to put boundaries because people might be flooding the group, and we don't allow that. We really create a safe, loving space so that everybody feels safe to share. So if somebody is flooding, then I will show you which videos to watch on how to regulate yourself and work through things so that you can communicate in a healthy way, so you make the group safe. You will be loved. That is our intent, that everybody will grow and create love in themselves. So if anybody is having any tech issues whatsoever, you can post it in the group and tag Janet Wall-Myers, and she will look at it. She's just one of the LuFu crew who was on the call last night, and she is much better at tech, and she just will contact Thrivecart on my behalf to try and work through it, because I don't understand. It just feels like when they message me, it's gobbledygook. And for Janet, it's really easy. So she will have a look at that. So if there are any questions at all, any concerns, I'm happy to hop on a call with you today. I will make time for you and spend 10 minutes with you going through what your concerns are and help you to make a decision. And if you know you want to come and join us for the next 8 weeks or the next year and have 3 programs, come and join us. And if you need to pay with PayPal credit, let me know which one you want to pay with. If you want to pay just for the program, you can do that right now. You log on to PayPal, you ask for PayPal credit, and then when it asks you how would you like to pay on PayPal, you just click on the PayPal credit. If you're wanting to pay for the whole year, then contact me. My assistant right now is creating a little link for that, and then you'll be able to pay for the whole year in one go, because using PayPal credit, you can only pay in full for the whole thing. So either for just the 8-week program or for the year for 3 programs plus support in between. So I hope that's really clear for everybody. And any questions, message me. I'm so looking forward to welcoming those who have joined. For those who are choosing not to join, the workshop is available until Friday, and then it will be taken down and put into the group for those who are carrying on. So those who are carrying on, if you've missed some of the work, like many people say that they joined the workshop, they didn't do the work, and they were scared that they wouldn't do the work in the program. The program is very different. It's not as busy because there are far fewer people, and you are focused on working on one skill at a time. And so whatever skill is there for you, there's a video there that is there. And if there isn't a video, I'll create a video for what you need. So it's proactive, and it's all about developing secure attachment in you. All right, I'm sending you love. Thank you all for being here with us. And I'm excited to see who comes to join us. Click the link there, zarialufu.com. Come and sign up, and we'll see you on the other side. Sending you love. Bye.